Hello, I'm John Joe. Welcome to Line War. Today we have Alpha Team, who is Crypto, Sporidium, and Numpty, versus Bravo Team, who is Archer and Barracuda. Over here we got Barracuda and Archer, starting on the left-hand side of the map. Archer in the north, and I'm going to turn off Fog of War, put on all commands so we can see what they're doing. Archer's going for tanks by the looks of it. A bit of eco and aircraft. He's only got one energy well up here, I think. So that's going to take a bit of management. Down in the south, I don't see much coming out. A few tanks and a barracks. Over on Alpha Team's side, though, they're already setting up tanks and energy straight away. So, basically in the north, Numpty is going with energy straight away with tanks versus eco and energy units as a starting setup at the moment. We got a bit of eco and tanks. There's very similar gameplay going on in this match thus far. And a barracks from pretty much everyone just to increase their rates of capture. So I'm going to speed it up until we get to the engagements, which is going to happen very soon in the north. We're going ×2 for the rest of it. And yeah, they've probably seen each other now. It's not Fog of War. Yeah, they can see each other definitely. And switching over, they can definitely see it. So there is a good lot of energy in this one territory there. But these tanks are going to jump on this expanding force of infantry. But we are going to have a response from that pretty quickly. From Numpty up there. I do want to see what's going on around the map while they're just catching up. It looks like Barracuda's coming up through the north here with some tanks just to either support or go this way. He's getting them close either way just so that he can be around in case he's needed. And Numpty is rushing forward. He's going to try and go straight past these tanks. Archer is desperately trying to get in front and block them, but the helicopters are coming in, and that will actually be a bit of a pain for Numpty, as the helicopters are pretty good at taking out these tanks, and whilst being followed by some tanks themselves, it's going to be a bit problematic. Now it's a 3v3, but there's helicopters and an interceptor in the air. I think these tanks are about as good as scouts at this point. But they will get a good view of his base and maybe try and take something out. It looks like I would personally target this airfield. But tanks don't have great vision, so I don't know how well Numpty can see in this area. He's trying to circle around the target he's trying to destroy, and that'll give him some cover, literally using their enemies' buildings to block the damage. But unfortunately, I don't think he's going to get that kill right now. I think he's going to get taken out. He does. But the damage does cost money, and he does have to pay for the repairs. At the same time, Crypto has come in from the south to take out some out-of-energy tanks. Barracuda hasn't got his energy set up just yet, which means these tanks are taking extra damage. They will be able to fire back, but when they're out of energy and smoke in black, I think it's 5 seconds, they're going to be able to take increased damage. The helicopter comes in to try and save them, but Numpty is going to come in and finish those guys off, which is a big loss for Bravo Team, to be fair. That was the first lot of tanks, I believe. Got taken out pretty quickly by a bit of a snipe from both of Alpha Team. Now, I'm just trying to keep an eye on what's going on in the south. It looks like Barracuda is expanding very fast. There is going to be some fighting in the bottom there. Most of the battles are going to be taking place up here, I would have thought. I do feel like Barracuda and Archer are in a better position to defend, especially with the choke point being here, where he can just send some units that way and down this way. Whereas it's going to take Numpty and Crypto a bit longer to try and react in the open areas over here. And your Crypto is pulling back, and Numpty is going to push in from the north section here. Both of Bravo Team's players are using helicopters, which is doing really well for them because there are not enough anti-air on the field for Alpha Team at this point in the game. Crypto has reacted a lot faster to the SAM, but I believe Numpty was just trying to go for a bit of a forceful pressure in the north. We do have quite a few tanks coming in trying to swing around the bottom here. There are some mixed in, there's 2 or 3, one tank's been left behind. He's just having a tea break. But the helicopters are doing a lot of damage here, and the SAM are going to be able to get destroyed if they get too close, because the helicopters will target them. Down in the forest here we have a lot of infantry. Crypto's trying to take advantage of the forest bonus here with the infantry, sending the majority through the forest rather than the open area. And trying to keep Barracuda out of the forest with his infantry means you get a bonus from this area, especially with the amount of infantry he has there. But in the north, the helicopters are pretty much just swarming these tanks and are keeping them back. I think Alpha Team on the ground definitely have a stronger cause, but it's the Air Force of Bravo Team that are literally keeping them out, and it's from this choke point here. Without that choke point, this would be a lot harder. Crypto sending in some anti-air towards the north area, but it does leave him a little exposed in the south as well, because most of his army has been destroyed there, with Barracuda switching into mostly artillery on the ground. Down over in this section we've got both of Alpha Team trying to push in against Archer, and I think that is leaving a bit of a gap from Crypto, so that can't last for much longer. Most of his units are going to have to keep coming through this way after this. Or no, actually he's going to bring some of his forces literally down to try and catch them in the forest, and they're going to sort of pincer them or flank them from two sides. And some of the SAMs are being called back. But the helicopters are crossing over the lake with commandos being dropped in right on this energy well. And I do want to check Numpty's energy production. He has 2. So it won't affect him too much, especially as he's not using it that much either. And he's got commandos of his own that he's going to be sending off. But they are going to lose that energy well. Does go down to those commandos. Helicopters came in to check around first, which was quite cool. A little bit of scouting there as well. And these aircraft are just coming in. The SAM tried to catch him, but they just were a little too slow, but they're going to get that helicopter instead. Down in the south, it looks like Crypto is slowly gaining back control of this area here. Not underestimating the threat of the air, having a lot of anti-air. And a group of tanks are straying away from the main fight over here. Might be that Crypto is underestimating the threat on the ground though. And both Numpty and Archer in the north seem to be equally balanced. Every time someone seems to get closer and closer, they just get pushed back again. But Archer's commandos are coming up in the north. They're trying to grab some land over here, which I don't think Numpty has noticed yet. And if he has, he's not responding to it. But the commandos are harassing up in the north now, trying to take out a town. And while that's happening, he's also doing some other things to try and see what else they can do. I'm assuming he's going to try and set up a proxy base over there. And we have a nuke silo on the ground. And that will definitely help control this area, being a choke point as all the units come in. That would be one big explosion to pretty much end an army. The tanks are rushing through down in the south here, trying to find a different entry point. And the helicopters are desperately trying to intercept over here. And there's a few commandos sneaking through as well. But there's a fair few infantry units and commandos themselves trying to get through on this side. Pressuring Crypto in multiple places. I do think Crypto is losing the south, which is what the desperate move on the tanks were. They found some structures and they're trying to take it out. I think they failed, but there are commandos coming in. Maybe they can finish off the job. But there's a few units around. I think they're just capturing lands for now. Up in the north, it looks like the commandos were taken care of, and Numpty does control that northern section. Unfortunately for Numpty, he is losing control over here as Barracuda has switched some of his units over into the north to assist Archer. And I think they have some air units coming in this way. The commandos again trying to take out this energy well, which I think they'll do fairly easily. It is fairly exposed. A lot of helicopters coming in from the north to help with the push against this army. And with a rocket on the way, I don't think there's much that Numpty can do unless he has a plan. He does have a plan. There it is. He's got the commanders coming in, and I think they're going to discover this rocket silo, but I don't think they're going to be able to do anything about it right now. The commandos coming in to defend. And the aircraft were taken out by a group of SAM just out of reach on the coastal lines there. And Crypto's feeling a lot of pressure now. He's got some units coming in this way. He's taking control down here. But unfortunately he's losing ground in the north. They're getting, well, in the middle. Getting scarily close to these factories. Taking away some production there. And I think some units over here have been forgotten about as they made a push earlier. Don't think he's got any sneaky units around at the back of the bases. Commandos once again being dropped off in this direction. Trying to sneak around, but you've got a bit of a force over there to help defend with any units that get dropped there. And the rocket does come in. It's going for the structures, trying to take out as much production as possible. And it does seem to get 3 structures, which is going to make it a lot harder for Numpty to push back. And the tanks are deviating their pathway, and again they're going back again. They were going for the energy wow, but he decided to retreat on that idea. It probably wouldn't have been a bad idea at this point, but they don't have full vision. They've got fog of war, so they can't see exactly what's going on. In fact, if we look at Archer, that's what he can see, so he's not exactly sure what's going on there. So he might have got a bit nervous from something there. Crypto is slowly being pushed out of this game, but he is trying to find different ways in. He knows his infantry don't have an advantage here, but he can use his infantry to stop the reinforcements in this forest. And if you can stop the reinforcements, then eventually this army will completely be diminished. But he is also pushing over on this section as well, which means Barracuda is deviating some of his reinforcements this way just to deal with this force here. But unfortunately, it's not just Crypto under pressure right now, it is also Numpty. But the same sort of thing applies, but he is also attacking on multiple fronts. He's retreating up in the north to try and get some stable locations. He does have territory though, so he could start building, as long as he can secure that location. And it looks like Numpty is trying to do the same thing. He's under fire with these commandos, but the commandos are trying to target this rocket silo, which looks like it's ready to fire, so I think he might just fire that anyway in a minute if it was under pressure, but I think they retreated. It looks like they ran out of energy after being attacked. Down here, yeah, he's got no energy supply left, which is going to make this almost impossible to fight against the tanks and the rocket, which is now coming in once again. And there we go, Numpty has given up the game. Crypto is the last one left in the game, but I can imagine this is the end. There we go. Let me know what you think they could have done to win that game. I'm not sure what I would have done in their situation. I think they both teams played extremely well, and it was just a bit of unfortunate. I think the map pretty much won that game. The people starting on the left with that choke point where they could easily assist each other was pretty much the deciding factor on that one, as far as I can see. But thank you for watching. Feel free to click on a video. There's 2 on screen right now, and I'll see you there.